If I could have your attention, please, I'll call our meeting to order. This is the December meeting of the Wilson County Board of Zoning Appeals. Appreciate everyone attending this morning. Does anyone have a case that's on our agenda this morning that you'd love to withdraw or maybe defer it to another date? If not, then the agenda will stand as published. We have a court recorder here this morning that's providing or taking a transcript of our meeting. If you would like a written transcript of your particular case, or any case for that matter, you're welcome to see the court recorder at the conclusion of our meeting today, and she'll tell you how you can go about obtaining that transcript, and that would be at your expense. Just to remind everyone, please, to silence your cell phones. When we call each case and read the case and the staff recommendations, we'll ask that you come to the podium, and you'll be welcome to give the board any statement you'd like to give. And also, when you are completed, we'll ask if anyone else would like to speak to a case, either in favor or in opposition. The staff has made recommendations to the board in regard to each case, and we will be considering those recommendations as we render our decisions. Just as a reminder to everyone, the meeting is being taped this morning for broadcast and rebroadcast on the county YouTube channel and on the local cable provider. If you do intend to make a statement in front of the board this morning, you'll need to be sworn in. So at this time, if you intend to make a statement, please raise your right hand. Anyone? Okay, Tom, I got to swear you in, I guess. Okay. You solemnly swear that the testimony that you're about to give in front of this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay. You two are sworn. You're sworn. You folks are not. Beg your pardon?
I don't know what I'm supposed to
Well, if you intend to speak, you're supposed to.
say.
Okay. You swear?
I swear.
Okay. You gentlemen swear? Everybody's sworn now. Okay.
You can't speak.
Yeah, I've got that on my notes here. All right. Next item is anyone signed up for the public comment period? This is not regarding any particular case. This is in regard to the meeting in general. And if there's no one who wishes to speak at the public comment period, the public comment period is closed. Okay, now, the members of the board, earlier this month, you were sent copies of our minutes from our November meeting. At this time, do I have any corrections to the minutes of the November meeting? And if not, do I hear a motion to approve November's minutes?
I make a motion.
Have a motion to approve, have a second? Second. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? And if not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposition, no. And the ayes have it. Okay, our first case. Reed Hinesley, on behalf of the Other Place Farm LLC, is requesting to use the property as short-term rental. The property is located at 655 Flippin Road, Lot 3, Chip Smith property, parcel 33.15 on Wilson County Tax Map 16. The property consists of 1.9 acres and is zoned A1 agricultural, and that is case 4137. Tom, do you have a recommendation, please?
Mr. Chairman, the applicant is requesting to use the property as a short-term rental. Staff has received a business plan stating how the applicant considers using the property. If the use is granted, staff recommends that the business plan be made a part of the approval and put the applicant on notice that if they're to add any sort of structure or expansion to the use of the property, they'll have to come back before the board for a plot plan submittal, resubmittal, and revised business plan approval. The business plan that they have filed with us states that the maximum number of guests allowed per stay is 8, and there are 4 bedrooms in the home. If granted, the board typically approves 2 tenants per bedroom, just as a I guess, a precedent, to make sure that the septic system on the property can serve the intended use. The business plan does indicate the caretaker resides within the required 10 miles of the short-term rental property per address provided. Airbnb or short-term rentals, otherwise known as bed and breakfast in our zoning ordinance, are a use permissible on appeal in the A1 zone district. Therefore, staff, given the language in the zoning ordinance, staff can recommend approval. The board typically grants first-time approval for short-term rentals for a period of 1 year, as that is a requirement of the Board of Zoning Appeals, or the use permissible on appeal specific to bed and breakfast. They are to be approved for a finite period of time. If the board approves the request, the applicant will have to make their contact information available to WEMA, the zoning office, and the county sheriff's office, so that dispatch might have it in case of odd hours, emergency calls, or dispatches to the property after hours.
Okay, who's here to represent 4137, the Other Place Farm? Yes, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, Reed Hinesley, 6254 Carabin Road.
And what would you like to tell the board, sir?
Yeah, just seeking pretty much what was reviewed there. 1 year would be perfect. I've spoke to both neighbors who are actually both clients of mine, and they were okay with it as well. So, trying to think, any questions you guys have? Because I would just seek 1 year, and I would still try to sell the house ultimately. It's just, of course, the market we're in. This house was under contract during the summer, which would be the opportune time to sell Lake Home for 60 months under contract, and didn't end up closing, so it just kind of sat idle. And I mean, I've shared with the neighbors. I think I've paid, it's kind of bad, almost $200,000 in carrying costs to the bank. That's interest only. So I've got the real, I guess the real reason behind this would be I have a investor that'll bridge my gap in that and save me 5% per month on carrying costs for the next year if I have approval for short-term rental and a business plan that goes with it. So that's the biggest thing. I don't want to probably do it longer than a year. I'm still hopeful that it will sell next year. So
I did have one phone call of concern about the request. I think their primary concern was due to the size of the house, that its potential to be used more as a party pad, if you will, style of B&B, and I think your commitment to no more than 2 guests per bedroom and the limitation that the board would likely put on you to that effect anyway should address that to some extent.
sure, yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm with you, and I don't want parties there. Obviously, it's a huge investment, and don't want the house destroyed. And I do respect the neighbors there. The nice thing, it's almost 2 acres, so it is spread out for a lake house. It's got a lot of room on it. Trying to think. Yeah, I think I heard that same thing, and I think there's like no after 10 o'clock. There's noise ordinance as well, and
We don't have a noise ordinance, but you
okay, I could imply that when
Mhm.
I think there was like noise meters or something I could put out on like the balcony off the back that would alarm me if it was over that after 10 o'clock, and I'd make that part of kind of the rules.
Well, you've got, in your business plan, you've got quiet hours, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Perfect. Yeah.
Board have any questions for the applicant?
As the proposed caretaker, are you within 10 miles of the residence?
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
Other questions for the applicant? In regard to case 4137, then, do I have anyone else that wishes to speak? Okay. If not, we'll close the public comment on 4137 and turn it to the board for other questions, discussions, or a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I will move that we approve this case for 1 year with the stipulation that the business plan be a part of it.
Okay. And have a motion and a second. Let me amend to add 8 people maximum. You accept,
Yes.
Howard?
Yes.
Okay, have a motion made and seconded. Motion is to approve this application for 1 year. Business plan is part of the application, and maximum of 8 people per stay. Any discussion? If not, all in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. All right. Our next case is case 4138. Jeffrey Morris is requesting a variance of 21 feet from the north rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet and a variance of 16 feet from the northwest rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet. The variance will allow the proposed addition to be 19 feet from the north rear property line, and the proposed porch will be 24 feet from the northwest rear property line. The property is located at 637 Twin Coves Drive, Lot 33. Twin Cove is Group A, Parcel 5 on Wilson County Tax Map 14E. The property consists of .83 acres and is zoned A1 agricultural. We get staff recommendations now on 4138.
Mr. Chairman, the zoning ordinance states that for principal structures, there shall be a rear yard of not less than 40 feet. This is an older tract of record, with the lot being created on March 23rd, 1963. Therefore, staff can recommend approval. And again, this is for approval of a variance of 21 feet from the north rear yard requirement of 40 feet, and a variance of 16 feet from the northwest rear yard setback requirement of 40 feet.
Okay, who's here to represent 4138? Morris. Yes, sir.
I am
You'd like to give us your name and address for the record, please?
Jeffrey Morris, 637 Twin Cove Drive.
And anything you'd like to tell the board, sir?
No, thank you for being here right before Christmas.
Does the board have any questions for the applicant? Not, does anyone else wish to address 4138, Jeffrey Morris? If there are none, then I'll close the public comment period. Thank you, sir. Turning to the board, discussion or a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve based on staff recommendation.
Have a motion to approve 4138 based on staff recommendations. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? If there's none, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposition vote no. And the ayes have it. All right, our next case is 4139. Deborah Poteet is requesting a variance of 5 feet from the east side yard setback requirement of 15 feet. The existing house is 10 feet from the east side property line. The variance will allow the applicant to make an addition to the west rear side of the house. The property is located at 108 Irene Drive, Lot 5, Breezy Point, Group A, Parcel 5, Wilson County Tax Map 13A. Property consists of approximately 24,800 square feet and is on R1 residential. We get staff recommendations now on 4139.
Mr. Chairman, similar to the last request, this is an older lot of record, with the lot being created on November 29th, 1960, and staff can recommend approval of the requested variance of 5 feet from the required 15-foot side yard requirement, leaving 10 feet.
Anyone here to represent 4139? Yes, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please.
Deborah Petit, 108 Irene Drive, Mount Juliet, Tennessee.
Yes, ma'am. What'd you like to tell the board?
That's it.
That's it, okay.
Yeah, don't really have anything.
That's perfectly fine. Anyone else here wish to address 4139? If not, I'll close the public comment period and turn it to the board for discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve 4139 based on staff recommendations,
I'll second.
and I have a second. Any discussion by the board? If there's no discussion, all in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposition vote no, and the ayes have it. Our next case is case 4140. John Lindsay is requesting an approval for an updated plot plan in order to make an addition to the existing pavilion for Irish Woods Wedding and Event Venue and add a new sign to the property. The board approved the wedding venue on December 20, 2013, and approved the pavilion on March 16, 2018. The property located at 7044 Lebanon Road is parcel 68.03 on Wilson County Tax Map 55. The property consists of 17 acres and is on R1 residential. We get staff recommendations now on 4140.
Mr. Chairman, the applicant is seeking an approval for an updated plot plan for Irish Woods Wedding and Event Venue. Staff does not see any negative effect if this request is approved, and there haven't been any complaints on the property provided to the zoning office since the use was approved in 2013. Staff can recommend approval of the request. I don't know if you remember where this is, and this is a good time for me to say, we can now laser point this screen. It was a TV that we couldn't before, so now you don't have to wrench your neck around, board members, to see what I'm pointing at. But you may have to help me from time to time because I'm still used to doing it that way. So, but this is right off Lebanon Road. Just 109's over here a good bit, and Quarry Road comes into Lebanon Road, and this is just west of that towards Mount Juliet.
So that's where the little modular house thing in Burdown Supply and
Yes.
church and all that.
Yes.
Right in there. Okay.
Yeah, and this is kind of flagged in behind it, and it's an old country home. There's a barn back there. They were actually constructing the pavilion when we were out there. Karen, did we get clarification as to whether or not they've received their permit for that as yet? Their building permit?
I don't think they had applied at the time.
You were clearing? Okay. Just for future reference, it would be preferable if you'd come in and get your permit before you start work. But they had not started erecting the structure per se. They're just clearing out and staking.
Okay. Is that all?
That's it.
Okay. Who's here to represent 4140? Josh Lindsay. What would you like to tell the board, sir? If anything.
No, I think everything said is pretty much what we'd like to accomplish and do.
Okay. Anyone else here wish to address 4140? Lindsay? Does the board have any questions for the applicant?
Let me understand. There is a building permit or not a building permit?
He hasn't applied for one yet,
Okay.
so he will.
He's been clearing out and staking out
Okay.
the where he's proposing the pavilion.
So we don't see any issues with the,
No, as long as he comes in and gets one.
Yeah, if approved today, then I'm going to go immediately over and
Okay.
get the building permit.
Okay.
I got a
Any-
question.
Yes, go right ahead.
Looks like you're adding 2 bathrooms.
That is a future, we're not going to do that right now because that's something that we've got to apply for and have field lines tested and all that stuff. So
That was gonna be my question, okay.
yeah.
So that's not part
So
of
that's
this?
not, this is
That's
not
not
part of it.
That's just the plans that the contractor that I'm working with drew up. And so he had that on there initially, but we're not doing that because of the field lines and all that. That's too
Okay.
expensive.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay. And I've already asked, anyone else wish to address this case? All right, we'll close the public comment period. Thank you very much. Turn it to the board. Any discussion or motion? In regard to case 4140, I recommend that, or excuse me, I make a motion that we approve based on staff recommendations. Do I have a second?
second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? There's no discussion. All in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposition vote no. The ayes have it. All right, that's the end of the agenda. Mr. Brashear, do we have any housekeeping issues we need to address?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I want to introduce a couple of new staff members. I have Ty Bueller, who we've hired as purely a zoning inspector. We're kind of changing around, reorganizing the 2 divisions over there between building codes and zoning division to try to make workflows a little bit more efficiently handled. Ty's going to be our zoning inspector, and Sonia Edwards is going to be the counter staff in that department, the zoning liaison, and of course Karen's heading that up as the zoning official. So
Okay, anything else?
that's all I wanted to introduce, and Merry Christmas.
Okay, everybody ready for the holidays, I'm sure? And some of us will go Saturday or Sunday. If there's nothing else, we adjourn. Thank you all.
Thank you.